Yuji Krishnamurti had said that religious thinking was born out of loneliness, and even all other search for realization, awareness, consciousness, all these things were born out of loneliness. He actually didn't even believe there is a conscious or a subconscious. Hello, everyone. This is BB Flower. Today I'll be making a podcast in English after a long time. So the topic for today is loneliness. I've been wondering about it actually for a while now, and I wanted to make a podcast about it, but I don't know. I've been just so busy, and everybody I think just wants me to make podcasts in Hindi. But I love making podcasts in English, so I'm going to be doing that more often. So, is there anything as loneliness? According to Yuji Krishnamurti, there isn't. Now, I sometimes wonder if it is an induced feeling because we see other people together and think they are happy, so being with someone has become a necessity. But are we, as a species, even social animals? That's also another thought that comes to my mind. Did we ever have a choice? Meaning, whenever we came about as a species, did we have a choice or did we start as social animals? When did we create boundaries, languages, cultures, religion, etc., to divide us by forming groups? Those are two contrasting things, but that's what we do. In today's virtual world, I call it virtual because practically everything is being done virtually, online. Now, in this virtual world, we get a glimpse of how most of us are lonely. We also get to see that we are indeed not very social either. But we do feel alone. Why? Is that being entitled? Do we feel we deserve to be with someone when in reality it is a struggle to woo one and keep them for life? I feel that we are leaving behind the need to be with someone because of the virtual world. We value material things, physical appearance, online image, and money more than anything else. But what is this anything else? Is it your sense of humor or your great personality? Is it the security that you offer your partner, or is you being a good human being that anything else? What is all this anyway? Do you stand a chance to show off these long-lasting qualities over looks, money, and image? More times than not, people don't give a chance to someone who is being themselves. As humans, we value the shiny exterior, the fake exterior, some more than others. But the fact remains that most of the population is not hot looking. So how do we meet the demands of being with someone? Again, do we need to be with someone? That's also a question. Are we innately social, or is it a concept forced upon us to exploit us? There is strength in numbers. So if someone wants to use you, they would want to organize the idea of togetherness. Maybe society is a derivative of someone wanting to use another for whatever reason. It could be warmth or plain propagation or higher greed like labor. I feel we are not social. That's something I feel. We do have a need for mental stimulation. If we don't engage our senses, we get bored. We then look for what can fill that void. But here's the thing, even animals cuddle. So it's not about mental stimulation for them. Do we not value another human being as a companion anymore? Because we have so many expectations from them. It is very much like transaction. Any relationship seems to start with a pleasing the visual senses, and maybe after that their nature comes into play. But during dating period, many grow apart despite them being attractive, because attraction is not a sustainable trait. If it isn't, then why do we consider that? Because I feel biological need dominates us. When we look for a friend or a partner, we want the best. Doesn't matter who we are. And so if looks are not needed for the long term and biological influence is only to make babies and superior genes, then can we not just get past that? Have kids in a contractual setting and choose a partner to live with based on the sustainable qualities, the long-term ones, turn it into a two-track lifestyle? I feel that's coming. Maybe forcefully. We will not be able to produce inferior kids. If we want to have one, we will need technology. Anyway, back to the loneliness question. I then believe that same-sex attraction is perhaps due to the long-term need of companionship. In any case, loneliness is determined when we see others with someone, when we are made to realize that living with someone is much better than living alone. Is it? It is for you to decide. Loneliness is also felt when you have something to share and there is no one to share it with. Therapists and self-help books say journaling helps. Write it down. Be in love with yourself. Become a narcissist. Enjoy your company. To someone like me, this is never going to help. I am very emotionally vulnerable. I can live without money and luxuries, but not without someone to call my own. I mean, that's just me. I'm actually not afraid to say that. I don't know why I feel this way, but I know this with surety that because I have seen both the extremes. I have been without anyone and with zero way to monetarily support myself. It was a situation where most people would become financially independent and not bother with anyone. Women are becoming more and more of that because they have been so emotionally vulnerable and nobody to help them with, and financially so much dependent on the man that they have become this way now. But I still don't feel that way because I have seen both the extremes. I still don't feel that way. In fact, my sisters are like that. They would never compromise their career for love. My mother taught us that from the very beginning. And I was frowned upon by my family when I decided to leave my career behind and dedicate my life as a housewife and mother. I wanted nothing more than to be able to live in the house that we were paying a fortune and mortgage for and enjoy it. At the same time, most people were spending all week at the time when I left my job. At that time, the traveling jobs were very popular, and most of the people were in such jobs and they were spending all week on site at a customer site. And I was like, why? That's what I felt. Even if you are doing 9 to 5, you spend most of the time in the office or commuting. My husband felt that too, and he literally manifested this for himself, where he has been working from home for the past 13 years now. He occasionally travels, of course. Now, believe it or not, it was because he felt lonely at work. He wants to be with me always, and not just in the house, but somewhere near. I have to be somewhere near him, so my frequency can be felt by him. It is like he derives energy from me. I call him succubus sometimes, but my husband goes through loneliness spell due to boredom also. And I bet that's a feeling that most people also go through. A lot of people go through, not most. Or if he doesn't get this dopamine dose in good quantities, he gets depressed. He needs constant stimulation, and I'm fully capable of stimulating my own brain and by engaging with what suits me. I know exactly what I need, but he doesn't. Whereas he doesn't. He has realized that he loves gardening. Of course, he knows that helps him. Not like a grandma does, but serious stuff like planting huge trees, growing vegetables, amending soil, building raised beds, making compost. He does all kind of things. Even then, he feels void sometimes. And to me, that is the feeling of loneliness. A void that can't be filled. It can be felt, and so it needs to be filled. Everyone has a different need as to what can fill this void. Getting high sure helps. I'm in no way promoting drug use, by the way, please, disclaimer. But it is true. Your need to be with someone, or the feeling of void, I feel is not bodily. Because when you get high, the thought interference is lowered. You go on a different plane. It cannot be achieved with a buzz or alcohol consumption where you numb your senses. I'm not talking about that. It has to be with mind-bending stimulators. And so when thought interference is reduced, you wouldn't feel lonely. You don't feel lonely. Unless you go on a bad trip, then also you wouldn't feel lonely, but freak out. So there's a difference. But that can't be the way to fill the void. In a civilized society, you can't do that. And so society is pushing the need for companionship. And it also is the biggest hurdle in getting one because of the raised standards. People have unreal expectations because society tells us that there are options. But where is it? Where are the options? Everyone is looking for the best. We are back to square one. And so again, are we social? Or is it the society telling us to be social? If we can live off-grid, because I've seen many people do that, if you can live off-grid, would we still feel the need to be with someone? If you are off-grid in nature, just looking at beautiful scenery and struggling to survive in nature, would you still feel lonely? So I suggest you rent an RV, hit the road, and try it out. And don't forget to let me know. Well, thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye.